welcome back to my little channel. It has been a while since I last made a response video on feminism. Well, maybe it hasn't really been that long, but I'm going to do one anyway. So, enjoy.
As it turns out, feminism can be a little bit harder to find than you think it might be. By simply Googling feminism, you come up with a whole number of very different definitions that oftentimes contradict each other.
Well, yeah, there are a lot of different definitions and they do often contradict one another. That's the thing with feminism. I mean, it's one big contradiction. But let's not point that out too early in the movie, shall we? Oh, not movie, video.
You get the definition, the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes.
Women's rights, not human rights based on sexes, no, women's rights based on the equality of the sexes. I guess this is why there are more women rights than there are male rights. Men right? Men right. Well, fair enough. There is no equality when it comes to feminism. Feminism is very much not about the equality of the sexes. Feminism is about the equality of women. You can't have equality of one sex if you do not have equality to the other sex, or with the other sex, really.
Feminism advocates for not only women's rights, but actually people's rights as a whole when you look at issues like toxic masculinity that are also influenced and benefit from feminism.
Yeah, no. First off, if feminism also is looking at toxic masculinity, then I'm pretty sure you have no problem to explain to me what toxic masculinity is. By all means, go ahead and tell me how toxic masculinity is bad for men, because obviously toxic masculinity, so it's men who are being toxified. It doesn't make sense. Then again, it's feminism, it doesn't have to make sense. No, but please tell me how feminism works towards cleansing toxic masculinity. And before you tell me that they are cleansing toxic, tell me what toxic masculinity is. I'm really curious.
The belief that women are and should be treated as potential intellectual equals and social equals to men. The biggest disgrace to my gender. The fifth entry on Urban Dictionary starts with, first of all, I want to say that most of the entries on feminism are disrespectful and infuriating, which is the best way to start an Urban Dictionary definition. So it looks like all of these definitions, while being sort of all over the place, do tend to come back to women's rights or advocating for women.
Yeah, funny how that goes. You've got a movement that claims that they're all about equality, but they only look at their specific group. And yes, that's perfectly normal, obviously, because that's what a segregatory group does. It doesn't look at the equality of people. No, it looks at the equality of my people. Don't care about the other people, my people. This is why feminism is not an equality movement. I mean, do women have it worse than men? Well, I say no, but then there are women who will say yes, and then there's the fact that since feminism got more and more traction, life's happiness of women has gone down. So, there's a conundrum. Never mind that. Continue.
Not everyone that benefits from feminism are women.
Well, I'm curious who you think benefits from feminism, but you are correct that on average, women do not benefit from feminism.
Again, just through a quick Google search, you can find 1.5 million different names and types of feminism. Things like anarchist feminism, black feminism and womanism, cultural feminism, environmental or ecofeminism, liberal feminism, which is often referred to as mainstream feminism, and radical feminism.
Yeah, it's funny, don't you think, that feminism likes to compartmentalize whomever believes that feminism is a good idea. It's almost as if the divide and conquer concept is what drives feminism. But then again, identity politics works better the more identities there are. And if you can claim to be a feminism for each and every single different identity out there, oh, look at how important you suddenly become. Funny enough, though, they do clash with one another, obviously.
Intersectionality is the way that different social categories like race, social class, and gender come together to form different variations of oppression and discrimination.
And this is why we need so many different forms of feminism, because intersectionality, we need to cover all our bases. And this is also why they fight so much, because, yeah, you can claim you're a feminist, but you're not the right sort of feminism, because identity politics. But at the same time, you're still combined in your effort to destroy the patriarchy, no matter what the patriarchy is. Feminism is a funny thing, don't you think? I think it's rather segregatory, to be honest. But yeah, that's just my opinion. And personally, intersectionality is the biggest bullshit out there. Yeah, no, you're the wrong kind, therefore you are less oppressed than I am, therefore you have to listen to me, because look at how oppressed I am. Well, fuck off with your oppression. I mean, if you have to fight for what you achieve and I have to fight for what I achieve, then why is it that when I fight for something I achieve, I'm privileged, and when you fight for something you achieve, well, you had to be helped because you're not privileged? It takes away individuality and merit. Are you a woman that's strong and independent, or are you a woman that's easily oppressed and therefore need the help of a community? See, the thing is, it basically boils down to this. Are you an individual or are you a collectivist? I think I'm an individual.
Essentialism is the idea that every construct or political group has certain characteristics that link it together and is used often to define it. Essentialism poses problems because it asks questions like, what is true of an issue that all women face? When you start asking questions like this, you're getting at essentialism. You're trying to get to the root of what feminism is. However, it's problematic because anytime you get to a definition of feminism that is so general that it includes all women, you start to exclude women that belong to minority groups.
Well, there are two funny things about this sentence. First off, I'm going to say, if you're going to look into the problems of the things feminism fights for in the Western world, there aren't any real problems. The second thing I find really interesting, or telling even, is that when you talk about all women, as in all women, you are marginalizing minorities. But aren't minorities part of all women? So, yeah, no, different people have different lived experiences, fair enough. Bullshit, but fair enough. But are not all women part of all women? Or when we say all women, do we mean, well, all women except for those redheads over there, or all women except for those Latinas? No, all women means all women. But yeah, no, I understand. You're a feminist. No worries.
The non-inclusive nature of feminism has been the major critique of feminism for over the past century.
But I'm sure it's not about how feminism excludes men. No, it must be something else, right?
Mainstream feminism today is white feminism, as it's more often than not exclusionary of women of color and trans women.
Yeah. No, mainstream feminism is not white feminism. But I understand that people seem to think that because that's the whole idea with identity politics. And feminism started the whole, well, no, they didn't really start it, but they really drive it home. They really want to split up as many societies as they can, divide and conquer. Remember, I've probably said this before. The thing is, yeah, there are people who are different, but that doesn't mean every difference makes a new group. But then again, who cares? It's feminism. They should have been all, I don't know, medicated and put away somewhere safe, in my humble opinion.
So while coming to a good theoretical definition of feminism that encompasses everything feminism is while separating it from everything it's not is nearly an impossible task, we can find a good operational definition for feminism.
Funny how that is. You have a group that claims to fight for the equality of women, not the equality of people, but still the equality of women. And then within the equality of women, there are different groups of women that have different fights for equality. Therefore, women are not the same as women. Don't try to explain it, because white women are different than black women, are different than Asian women, are different than Hispanic women. Yeah, but I mean, aren't rights the same? I mean, if you should have equal rights, doesn't that mean that all rights should be equal? I'm not looking to hear about how you feel your family life is different. Rights are laws. Funny enough, all rights are equal, never mind that. I had a train of thought and it derailed somewhere, but then again, that happens with feminism a lot, doesn't it? Oh well.
Feminism is about advancing people who are marginalized based on their gender.
Oh, this is a good one. Feminism is a movement for people who are marginalized because of their gender. And suddenly we have this 101 versions of gender. Never mind the fact that biology says there are two sexes, and then people will start talking about, yeah, but there are lots of different genders, and each and every one of them is being marginalized. Never mind the fact that cis heterosexual, wait a second, cis and heterosexual is the same. Never mind. Never mind the fact that heterosexual men and women need to explain why they are heterosexual, and they're called bigots because they are heterosexual. So wouldn't that mean that heterosexual people are oppressed by the minorities that want special attention? And if that's how it works, that you're okay with heterosexual people being marginalized by the minorities, doesn't that then make you a sexist? Because you marginalize people based on their sexual preference. It's a little bit difficult, isn't it? But then again, the whole thing with multiple genders is that it doesn't make any sense. So why should you make any sense? Feminism surely doesn't make any sense, so that helps. Yeah, this is a nice rambling. I'm going to end my rambling as a response to your rambling. Criticism, as always, is more than welcome. I look forward to your points, and I do invite you for a one-on-one talk. We could do this in a hangout. I'm really looking forward to this stuff. I always invite feminists over. They hardly ever want to talk to me because, hey, I'm just a heterosexual man, so I'm probably the worst thing in the world. But trust me, I won't bite. And during a hangout, I can't bite because you're on the other side of the internet. So I'm sorry, I'm just rambling. Okay, guys, like, share, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. I'm sorry. It's very late where I am, or very early, depending on how you look at it. So my mind might not be working at its finest. I do, however, meant what I said. I really look forward to doing a hangout with feminists and talk about their religion. Before I start again, I hope to see you all next time. Bye-bye.